What's going on, YouTube? We're back at it for another video, and I was actually in the middle of a different video, and then I just noticed we've got a huge patch that's come in here where we've got a lot of buffs and nerfs. Now, there's more than a few important notes to be key highlighted here, so let's get straight into it. One of the major updates we're getting now is planetary hazards. So apparently now we will possibly have flaming tornadoes, meteor showers, and many more environmental challenges that will appear randomly as we go from planet to planet. This is going to be pretty cool. I'm going to be checking this out shortly after making this video or uploading it. But let's keep it rolling. We've got a whole lot more. Eradicate missions are now going to last much longer and be much more enjoyable, in my opinion. They will have to require more kills and more enemies will spawn more often. This is going to be even better. I want it to be a full-on holdout mission, and apparently we will now have twice as long to get it done, and it will supposedly take twice as long, so this may end up fixing the fact that this was a farming mission, but even then it may make it a more enjoyable mission, in my opinion. Now, the Breaker did get a small nerf, but not to its overall damage, maybe to its overall damage output and how fast it can output that, but going down from a magazine size from 16 to 13 and increasing its recoil from 30 to 55, honestly, anybody that's been using the Breaker, more than likely this is going to be a small change, but it's not going to basically put this into the dirt and make it useless. It's still going to be one of those top tier weapons. Now, the railgun has been decreased in armor penetration in safe mode. This is more than likely to give people a bit more of a challenge and force them into using unsafe mode to really get that full-on damage output, but it also has decreased damage against durable enemy parts. This may mean that it is possible that it may take more shots to take out that leg armor on that charger, but I'm not certain just yet. We'll be testing this out here a little bit later, and I'll get a completely different video going to kind of go over these. As the next one up, we've got the Flamethrower increased by 50% of damage per second. I can't wait to check this out. It's almost perfect timing. I was just about to do a full-on meme flame build, and this may make it work a whole lot better than I thought it would. But coming up right after that, we've got the laser cannon. This is increased damage against durable enemy parts and increased armor penetration and improved ergonomics. So that means that it's actually going to be easier to control this weapon. It's going to be easier to sustain that fire. Now, whether or not this is truly going to make it a much more viable weapon is something that we'll be seeing in the future, but be sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty of testing to get done, and we'll be making a video on a lot of this stuff. Coming up right after that, the Punisher actually gets a big buff to it right here, with the total ammo capacity going from 40 to 60, increase the stagger force, and increase the damage from 40 per bullet to 45. This may actually, I put this up pretty high on my list for the top 5 weapons, and it may get a little bit beefier now that this has been increased. This is going to be a much more viable weapon than it was before. Now, we also got a buff to the Breaker Spray and Pray, which increased armor penetration. This definitely needed it. It couldn't even do light armor penetration. It was really sad, but it's also increased its fire rate from 300 to 330, increased the number of pellets from 12 to 16, and decreased its magazine size. I'm going to be honest, I think this makes it a slightly bit better, but the increased armor penetration isn't more than likely going to be the thing that makes me go towards this. I'm still going to say the Incendiary is going to be 10 times better than this and almost avoid this weapon, even with this buff. Now, we do have a nerf to our Energy Shields backpack. It has increased the delay before recharging. Sadly enough, they didn't give us a full-on timer for this, but I'd imagine it's 1 to 2 seconds longer now, so this could mean that it's not necessarily going to break the shield backpack, but it will decrease its capability of giving you that full protection each time. So this may hurt a lot of people that are going in and facing off with the automatons when it comes to being able to have that shield fully charged. So you may need to spend a bit more time in cover in order to maintain that overall shield. But coming up right after that, we've got the 380mm and 120mm orbital barrages, not only increasing their duration, but decreasing the overall spread. I'm a big fan of this, and we'll have to be checking this out soon to whether or not they're actually going to be even more viable now. And one of the biggest fixes for this entire patch is going to be that the armor rating values are now going to work as intended. We're going to find out whether or not we can be a super tank with that heavy armor, and I can't wait to check it out. If you'd like to see some of that content live, hit that link down in the description. Follow me over at Twitch. We'll be streaming this shortly right after this video's up. And the last thing to key highlight is now cameras no longer locked on the players while you're dead on the ground, and you could actually spectate the rest of your players. I can't tell you how many times this has made it really boring for the stream, where I'm just sitting there waiting on either the cooldown or not knowing what's actually happening, and just having, some of those moments you want to give a play-by-play and just have a good bit of fun. But that's going to be everything when it comes to the major patch notes right here. The buffs, the fixes. We'll have plenty of videos coming up later as there's more than a few things that we're going to have to cover and test in order to get this done. So if you'd like to see more of this content, hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to see some of this content live, hit that link down in the description. Follow me over at Twitch. We'll be streaming daily. And on that note, have a good one.